Alright, I feel like I should do a dun-dun, because we're back in the blue bathroom, yay! I won't say no more car vlogs, because quite honestly, they're easier that way. But, yeah, for today anyway, we're back in the blue bathroom. Yay! This is going to be a quick update for weeks 17 and 18. Let's see. Excuse me. I had to do the glucose testing for gestational diabetes. They had me do it early just because I'd been on the metformin and because of my weight, and they just wanted to make sure that because I quit taking the metformin early in my pregnancy because it was making me so sick, they wanted to make sure that that wasn't negatively affecting my blood sugars. Now, my OB has never thought that I needed to be on the metformin, and he kind of thought my fertility doctor was a little bit nuts for putting me on it, and I really kind of have to agree with them, because there was only one number during that 3-hour glucose test that I took that was high, and that was my fasting number. But the rest of my numbers were really good. And I can hear Wyatt coming, so he's probably going to join us in a minute. So anyway, I did the 1-hour test last week. And of course I failed it. I always fail it. I knew I was going to fail it. But I just so barely fail it. It's annoying. You know, like the cutoff number is 140. And this time when I took the test, my number was 145. I looked it up on the computer, and when I took the test with Wyatt, the 1-hour test, it was 143. So like I said, I'm just barely failing these tests. And then I ended up having to take the 3-hour. So I went on Monday of this week and did the 3-hour test, which, you know, it sucks and it's not that bad all at the same time. It sucks because you have to fast and you can't eat anything after like midnight, and you got to be there 8 o'clock in the morning. And then you don't get out of there until noon. So, you know, if you follow the directions, it's been at least 12 hours since you've eaten anything. And I didn't eat after like 10:30 that night, so it had been more than 12 hours since I had anything to eat by the time I got around to getting out of there and getting lunch and getting home to eat it. And so the fasting part sucks. I really don't mind the sugar drink that they give you. My hospital does the lemon lime one, which I don't think is that bad. I've heard the orange one is pretty nasty, and I think way back when I did it with Brian, they had like a fruit punch. That one was pretty gross. I remember that. I don't remember if it was fruit punch or orange. I just remember it was bad. But, you know, when I did it with Wyatt, when I did it as part of my fertility workup, and when I did it this time, it's been a lemon lime drink, and which, like I said, it's not bad. It kind of burns your throat a little bit. Like, I think the sugar content is so high and a little on the grainy side, so when it goes down, it kind of rubs your throat a little raw. I think that's why it hurts a little bit to drink, but other than that, it tastes fine. It's, you know, they keep it in a fridge, so it doesn't taste that strongly, and it just tastes like overly sugared flat 7-Up or Sprite or whatever, so it's really not that bad. You know, the sucky part is you're stuck there for 3 hours picking your hiney and getting blood drawn. And for some reason, their internet connection wasn't working. So, like, if you went over to one of the computers they have set up, they have like a little computer area in that waiting area, because that particular area is very specific to, here's the diabetic section on this side, and here's the weight loss clinic on this side. And obviously, they very frequently have people that come, and they do this, I think, every Monday and every Wednesday. They have the pregnant women come and do the 3-hour glucose. And then you can do the 1-hour any day during the week. So they have a whole row of computers set up where you can kind of think around and keep yourself occupied while you're sitting there for half your day. Unfortunately, apparently they have a few homeless people that like to come in and just kind of hang out. I saw a guy get kicked out last time I was there because he was playing on the computer and wasn't a patient, and that's obviously a no-no. So anyway, their regular internet connection, though, wasn't working. I couldn't pull it up on my phone. I couldn't pull it up on my Kindle. And usually when you go to connect to Wi-Fi, there's like a screen that comes up where you accept their conditions of use and all that kind of stuff. And once you accept that, they connect you. Well, that screen never came up. It never came up on my phone. It never came up on my Kindle. And I didn't know if it was maybe me. Maybe I was doing something wrong. Maybe it was something to do with my particular equipment that wasn't working. I didn't know. I tried logging all the way out, completely turning Wi-Fi off, turning it back on, logging back in to connect, and it would still never come up, and it would still never let me connect. But then thankfully, the woman that sat next to me, a very, very nice lady there that was there for, I assume, the weight loss clinic, because she went to the other side. She had an iPad that she couldn't get to connect either. So at least then I knew it wasn't just me. But I have games and stuff on it, so it's not so bad. I had something to do, and I was at least able to get to my Google Music, and I had my headphones with, so I just plunked them in and ignored everybody for a few hours. I don't know. I went in, they put an IV in. I'll try to remember to put some of these photos at the end. But yeah, they stuck an IV in my arm so they could easily do blood draws. Thankfully, they didn't have any trouble getting it in. Oh, I think it was when I was pregnant with Wyatt. I spent an hour having them just trying to get the IV in my arm. It was horrible. But they didn't have any trouble getting in. It hurt. Like, I've never had an IV hurt like that before. It was really rather painful, and then my arm was really kind of sore and achy the rest of the time I was there because of the IV. I don't know if it was just in a funny place or what the deal was, but it hurt. And I had a little bit of a reaction to the tape. Well, and I don't think it was the tape that I had a reaction to. I think it was the fact that she very gently and slowly, because it was like a square of this tape that went around the IV, and she very slowly, politely removed it until she got here, where that last little quarter of tape is, and she went, phoom, and ripped it off. And I just think she just took a hunk of skin with her, and that's why it was kind of sore and irritated. And that night at work, I was scratching at it, but it's fine now. There's still a mark there. I can still see the little hole, and I can still see where the tape got ripped off, but other than that, it's fine. Drank my drink, went in every hour, had the blood drawn and everything. I had brought my meter with me, and I've decided it may be time for a new meter. But I'm not going to buy one if I don't need it. And we haven't needed it since Wyatt was born, when I needed it for checking his blood sugar. I just think I've had it for a long time now. I've had it for probably, I don't know, 5 or so years. So it's kind of up there in age. And it's been pretty well used. So, anyway, when I would go in and they would draw my blood, and then I would go out to the bathroom, because of course I had to pee every single hour that I was there. And I would take my own blood sugar. And I think I figured out that my meter is roughly 20 points off. So let's say if they got a reading of 165, my reading would be 185. You know, not an actual reading that I got. That's what I'm saying. Those were the kind of readings that I was getting from the meter versus what they were getting from the blood that they had drawn. So I finished up with that and everything and checked my numbers later that day. They were fine. Got an email the next day from the doctor saying that everything was fine, that you had to have 3 or more normal. Like, there's a cutoff. It needs to be under that number. As long as 3 of those numbers are under that number, you're fine. If, 2 or more are at or above that number, then they consider you to be diabetic. So, cutoff for fasting was 95, and I was right at 95. That was my only number that was right at the number. 1 hour cutoff was 180. Mine was 144. 2 hour cutoff was 155, and mine was still at 144. I don't know why, but it was. 3 hour cutoff was 140, and mine was I don't know why my fasting blood sugars are a little higher than they should be, but really 95 is not bad, and like I said, it's right at their cutoff. Literally 1 point less and I would have aced the whole darn thing. So either way, I passed it. Everything's good. I do not have gestational diabetes. The sucky thing is that even though I did it now at 18 weeks, they're still going to make me come back and do it again at the 26 to 28 week mark. So I'm still going to have to do it again in 2 months, which is annoying and it sucks. Whatever, sometimes you just gotta do things to make your doctor happy, and in all honesty, I kind of enjoy proving them wrong. And not that my doctor thought, you know, like, oh, you're going to fail it. I'm not proving him wrong. He's awesome. But there are other doctors that just automatically, they see my weight and they assume you're sick, you're unhealthy, you've got high blood pressure, you've got diabetes, you've got all this array of things that are going to be horrible for your pregnancy, and you and the baby are barely going to survive, and I'm fine. You know, I don't have problems, and I do well. It's just nice to kind of prove them wrong. That yes, I do understand that the weight can be an issue for some people. For me, it's not. I guess my body just likes being pregnant, and it's good at it once it, you know, it's not so good at getting pregnant, it's just once it is, it's good then. I don't know. All I know is that I'm just happy that I get to prove them wrong every time. Hopefully I will again in 2 months. Although I think this time I am going to request that I get to skip the 1 hour. I think it's kind of on the pointless side to take the 1 hour, to fail it by barely anything, and then have to go ahead and take the 3 hour. I feel like it's a waste of my time, it's a waste of insurance, it's a waste of whatever. Maybe instead of doing the 1 hour, we just skip ahead and do the 3 hour. I'm even thinking next pregnancy I will volunteer to do the glucose test at 20 weeks, like I was supposed to do it this time, and then again at 28 weeks, as long as they agree to let me skip the 1 hour and just jump ahead to the 3 hour. Now, I don't like the 3 hour. I don't think it's fun. I don't want to skip ahead because I want to do the 3 hour. I just don't want to waste any more time with a test that I know I'm not going to pass. And I never have passed. Well, okay, I passed it with Brian. But really, I mean, I know I'm going to fail it. I know I'm going to fail it by, you know, a handful of points. And it's just one more morning that I have to find a babysitter and go mess around. And it's annoying and just not worth it in my opinion. So hopefully they'll just let me skip over it next time. What else? It's been pretty mellow. Baby's been very, very active. I'm feeling a lot of kicks and stuff now. Even when I'm up and walking around, in the past it's been I had to either be laying down or sitting on the couch or, you know, holding still, and then I could feel the baby moving. That is no longer the case. Baby is very active, and my uterus is right there, like at the middle of my belly button is where the top of my uterus is, which actually might be a little bit high. So I don't know, maybe I had a big baby in there. Who knows? But, or maybe this kid is just sitting up on top of my hips like Wyatt did, and that was why Wyatt was measuring so far ahead when he was only, you know, 6 pounds. But yeah, so baby's up high, and there's a lot of movement, and the baby's starting to react to things, which I find funny. Apparently the waistband of my maternity pants was sitting in a position that the baby just did not appreciate, and I kept getting punched, or kicked, or whatever little body part was, but I just kept getting thump, 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 right where that band was. And when I moved the band, it would stop, but as soon as that band would slide back down, because these maternity pants that I was wearing are not the full belly ones like the ones I have on right now, or seriously, look at how much space you have on these full belly ones. But they were just the ones that have a few inches of cloth stretchy material around the waist. And apparently it was just rubbing in an area that the baby didn't like, and the baby decided to throw a hissy fit about it. And the other night, either Wyatt and the baby are conspiring against me and beating me from both sides, or they were arguing and they were fighting through my womb, because Wyatt was bouncing and jumping around on my lap, and he would elbow me or kick me or, you know, hit me in the head with, or hit me in the stomach with his head. It was just constantly thumping my stomach. Well, and the baby would react then. Wyatt would hit my stomach, the baby would hit back. And it was like they were arguing with each other, and I'm stuck in the middle, and there was nothing I could do about it. Hi, baby. What you doing?
The potty.
Yeah.
Potty.
We're in the potty, yep. He's right, it is the potty. So a lot of activity, still a little problem with headaches, but not bad. The occasional bout of nausea, it's like every once in a while morning sickness decides to come by and go, didn't want you to forget about me, and then it leaves again. Like this morning when I got up and I was, you know, dry heaving away and trying not to barf, and I hate it. I don't know why it happens. There was nothing to trigger it. Thanks. That was loud.
Loud?
Yeah, loud.
The
Oh, not too much else. Had a little bit of cravings, like pumpkin pie, and Sam's Club finally has pumpkin pie. Awesome. Thanks for that. Needed a toilet flush in the middle of my video. You're such a goober. Anyway, yeah, not a whole heck of a lot of symptoms. In fact, if it weren't for the baby moving around a lot, you almost wouldn't know that you were pregnant. Or I was pregnant. Ow, I just got kicked. But then, you know, you try to walk up a flight of stairs, and by the time you get up the first 4 steps, you're like, and it's, oh yeah, I am pregnant. I'm carrying 2 people up these darn stairs. I hate the winded part. I hate it because, you know, like if I'm talking like I am now, I start to get winded, and I gotta take a deep breath, and you know, and just walking anywhere. And I know it's only going to get worse. And I know as the baby gets bigger and takes up more room and cuts off my lung capacity, I'm going to have an even harder time walking and getting around and breathing, and stop playing with the toilet paper. Let me tell you. And, you know, it's only going to get worse, and you already feel like a hippo that can't breathe. And then you add in the peeing, which I'm up like 3 or 4 times a night to go to the bathroom. And again, that's only going to get worse as the baby gets bigger and puts more pressure on my bladder. Stop. Hey. No more. We don't need to play with toilet paper. So yeah, peeing a lot, breathlessness, a few cravings here and there. The thing that sucks about cravings, Wyatt, please stop. Got your nut. The thing that sucks about cravings is that my sense of taste is different. So, I'll crave something, and I'll make it, or I'll buy it, and I'll go to eat it, and it tastes different. And then you're like, well, I didn't even satisfy that craving, because that's not what I was expecting to taste, and now it's just, oh look, it's a little blonde head. And his little mosquito bite in the middle of his forehead. Yeah, the mosquitoes love him, and they eat him, and then he picks at them, so now he's got one here. He's got one on the side of his mouth. He's got one on his shin that he keeps picking at. And of course then it takes forever for them to heal. Well, anyway, I think that's all I got. 20 weeks is when my ultrasound is. Yay! So we are exactly 13 days away. Hi, nice fingers. 13 days away from finding out, well, hopefully, God willing, finding out the gender of this baby, because I'm tired of saying baby. I'm tired of saying he, she, and I'm starting to say she, and I'm a little concerned that it's going to be a he. Don't touch the button! Apparently you can't have a red blinking light and a 2-year-old, because they don't combine. Nope, fingers to yourself. Anyway, point being, ultrasound in 13 days, and we will hopefully find out the gender of the baby. And I will know whether I've been calling my son a she these last couple of weeks, because I keep saying she. But I think that's all we got. And I better stop here before Wyatt just turns things off again. So, thank you for watching. Please feel free to subscribe. Can you say bye?
Bye.
Say thanks for watching. Thanks for watching.
Thanks.
See you soon. Okay, hit the button. You hit the red button? No, the button, not your head.